Hello and welcome back to my channel. I really appreciate you coming on here, saying hi, and watching this video. So today, as the title may suggest, I am showing you guys how to basically blend color pencils, which I think is a skill that everybody should know how to do. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Alright, and to follow this tutorial, you're going to need 5 colored pencils. I recommend just kind of some colors that are more or less in rainbow order. And we're going to start with blending 2 colors and 3, and by the end of the video, you will be able to seamlessly blend 5 different colors. So let's get into it. So we're going to start today with blending pink. So you don't have to use pink, but I'm going to use pink, and I'm also going to blend it with this blue. And you can see we have what I call the blending boxes to just kind of put all the colors in one place so you can clearly see what we're doing. Alright, so let's start with lightly shading the blue. So part of the trick of blending is not going really heavy on the color at first, because if you do that, it's going to be much more difficult to get a seamless blend. So I'm just going to kind of color the blue and then slowly fade out at the top. And then I'm going to grab the pink and do the exact same thing. And once you have the 2 colors down and they're somewhat blended, you're going to want to go in and obviously lay down the color a little bit more. And you want to go a little lighter around the center so you can still get a smooth blend. And then you're going to just kind of, wrong color. Then you're just gonna kind of blend in circles near the middle. It might take a little bit, so please just be patient. It will eventually show up, but usually you should probably try to identify, especially just with 2 color blending, you're going to try to identify the lighter color, which in this case is pink. So you're gonna go press a little harder with a pink pencil than you would with the blue. Alright, and there we have it, one mildly decently blended pair of colors. So this one is a pretty easy one to master. Obviously, if you're not perfect at it yet, do not give up, practice makes perfect. But now we're going to move on to 3 colors. So in addition to these 2 colors, I'm also going to add a yellow. So we're going to start the same way that we did actually with our last gradient, and color lightly with all 3 colors and getting even lighter where the colors blend. And for the middle color, you're going to want to be a little extra careful when you blend, because sometimes it will blend weirdly. In this case, we're using kind of like a primary color scheme, so it shouldn't affect it too much. But if you're blending, like for example, orange and green, it might get a little weird if you go a little too hard on one color. So obviously this is a rough blend right here, but we're gonna go ahead and do what we did last time and further blend it out. But instead we're only gonna do the top and bottom colors. We'll get to the yellow in a little bit. Alright, and once we have this very weird looking situation right here, we're actually going to go ahead and blend out the yellow. So it's going to start looking a lot better, a lot faster. And it's going to look a little rough for a little bit, per usual, but you just got to stick with it. And before I get any comments about the hairy paper, I know, they're coming, but it's just because the paper is like less refined than like printer paper. It works better with colored pencils, so I'm gonna put out a video in a little bit with some colored pencil tips, and one of my top tips is to never use printer paper for drawing. Like, use cardboard for all I care, but never use printer paper because it does not work with the pigment very well. Alright, and there you have it, a fairly decent looking color blend. Now obviously you can be a little more precise than I was, but now it comes to the real challenge, 5 colors. And just a side note, you won't usually be blending 5 colors all in a row. It's usually just 1, like 2 colors, or maybe even 3, but one of the only situations where you'll be blending multiple different colors are like holographic things, which is a whole different story, but it's just a good skill to have because it also can help you improve your technique if you're able to do the harder stuff. So, and as we do this, I am just going to talk a little bit about situations in which you might blend, because this is just kind of like the light blending stage, so it's nothing you haven't done before if you've been following along in this tutorial. So while we're doing that, usually when you blend, it's from a lighter shade of the color to a darker shade of the color. And there's a bit of technical things that go in here. So usually when you're doing a shadow, you want it to be a darker shade of the color. You don't want it to be black, because black will just kind of make your drawing look flat, if you know what I mean. I mean, obviously there are some black shadows, but usually it's just a darker color. So like, for example, if I were to make this yellow here darker, I would actually use like a dark brown instead of black, you know? So usually when you blend out, again, it's just going to be a darker or a shadow of the color that you're using, but it is good to learn to blend multiple colors as well, because as I said before, doing harder things will just improve your technique overall, even if you don't like apply them regularly. So just having this skill under your belt will assist you really well in the long term. We are just going to kind of do that blending thing that we did before, make it slightly darker, but still keep pretty light at the borders of where the other colors are. And as you can see here, the purple is kind of blending into the blue, and that's kind of what you want to happen. Especially with a bigger gradient like this. So just with these, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. You just kind of want to go with the flow, see what works, and the best part is that usually these colors are pretty much side by side in the rainbow. So even if you make a little mistake, they won't look too weird. Whereas if you try to blend like purple and yellow, if you make a little mistake, it might end up looking a little wonky. But for this, you can just kind of go like this, and that's the great part about blending like more than 3 colors, is that usually they're actually pretty close in the color spectrum, so it becomes a little easier. I would say that personally for me, blending 3 colors is the hardest, not even like 5. So again, have confidence in your skills, and if you are not confident, you're probably not going to produce a good result. Like, I mean, obviously a good amount of it is skill, but you do need to have some confidence as well, because, you know, if you don't believe that you can, you won't. So as you can see, I'm just kind of pressing a little harder until it blends, and I think I chose the wrong green for this because it stands out a little too much, but I kind of like the gradient that we've created here. It's pretty nice looking, and although this camera is zoomed in really far so you can kind of see what's going on, when we zoom all the way out, it's a super smooth blend. So I'm showing it up close so you can really like see the detail, but in reality it's gonna look a little rougher to you than it will actually look on your wall or on the screen. So don't be worried if it looks a little rougher up close. Alright, and there you have it. 3 sets of nicely blended ingredients, and I hope that you can utilize this video whenever you need help with blending. Obviously, it is a skill that requires practice, so please don't be discouraged if you don't get it perfectly on the first try. I've been doing this for years. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for joining me. I hope to post other art-related videos on my channel really soon, so if you want any of them, please comment down below. I'm willing to do tutorials, recommendations, anything that, you know, is art related. And I also kind of sometimes post vlogs and non-art related things, so feel free to check out those as well. But anyways, have a nice day, and I will see you all in a few days.